needy. You know? It's okay if we can talk in person. I'm all for that.
That's right.
It's just not quite the same here.
Listen, will you guys be able to like cut his mic on and off and or will he have to do that or on his
It's best that, Stephen, do you think Frederick can mute and unmute, or do you want to just mute everybody and ask them
make
to?
him co-host. It shouldn't be a problem.
I mean if he needs to. I didn't know if he was gonna need to.
What? You think I'm singing or something?
Yeah, exactly.
I think as soon as one of our other guys join, we'll decide if we're going to mute everybody and if he'll unmute, or if you guys will unmute yourselves when it's your turn to speak.
Okay.
Actually, the live stream started faster than I thought it would, so we're actually already live now. So
Wow.
heads up.
Okay. We'll see how many people join, and then we'll just, say hello and please wait.
What's that image behind you that we only see a little bit of? That looks interesting.
This one?
No, I got that one. That's A. Smith Gallery.
That's right. That's my exhibition there. I'm not this
You
lady
can't see yourself? Yeah,
That's it.
Look like there's water and perhaps some sort of.
Oh yeah, it's a Dow. It's in Kenya, and it's I'm surprised you could see that. It's an image that I took in Kenya in Lamu Island, which is one of my favorite places. But it's an adventure to ride one of those dhows with, they're basically young kids that sail these things. And
what took you to Kenya? That's not.
My daughter used to live there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good story someday.
It will. When we get together, I'll tell you all about it.
All right.
Oh boy, I better turn off that little dinging thing.
Should I turn off my mic since I'm a Texas talker? I don't even know how to do. Oh, mute. Okay.
There you go. Hey, Stephen. He has his mic off.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted.
It's okay. David Burnett asked if you could send him. Well, let me see. I guess I could copy and paste. He wants it a text.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we're now live on our website as well.
Okay, great. Hi, Frederick.
Hello.
Frederick, do you think it's best that you unmute people as they need to speak, or do you want them to unmute themselves?
I think they should unmute themselves as they need to speak. I'll monitor it.
Okay.
Stephen, have you made me an admin in here, or can you if you haven't?
Just doing that now, yeah.
Okay. You should probably hit record now, I think. Hey, man.
Hey, Frederick.
Yo.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
You got a jacket on and everything. Look at you.
Hey, got to act the part.
I know. I know.
You know what's funny is your background looks like my real life background.
Yeah, what are you trying to say this isn't real? Come on.
Dealing with the AI genius that you are, I'm sure it's not.
Yeah, like military intelligence, AI genius, right?
Oh my God. Yeah.
And just to let you know, this is live.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you. That's
Yeah. And still military intelligence, AI genius. Yeah.
I'm gonna put up an intro graphic just as a share.
Sure.
And we can take that down when we get to 6.
I'm self-touring.
Oh, no, that's cool. Yeah.
I'm not including.
Not yet. I'm going to be online in a few minutes.
Okay.
That's fine. I mean,
Yeah, so that's, yeah, you can look at there. You can almost, looks like you're looking at there, but you're reading, right?
I'm trying. I didn't memorize it, so I did it.
I hear you. Trust me.
Again.
No?
Yeah, and I think I said we're gonna be live on the screen in there at 6.
6?
Yeah. So we're,
No, it's live now.
I brought Mary, because I wanted her to meet Kristen. Because they'll just.
well, Cindy Probst, Cindy's our.
We need to, I just hit her up for the report right now. I'm sorry.
Being recorded. Hey, Mark.
Hey,
I show up for these meetings. What can I what can I tell you? How can you not show up for a meeting where there's a threat of being mentioned? You know? Only a threat so far, but happy. It's a very cool thing. I won't go on and on because I know we're like down to H hour, but it's pretty cool and it's greatly appreciated.
fabulous. Well, we love having you involved.
Well, thank you.
It's all
Thanks.
part of the program. So
Yeah.
thank you for participating in this.
Well, it's, you know what they say, wouldn't miss it. Well, I would have missed it, but then I got back from the dollar store with 15 minutes to spare. So cheers.
No,
No, we made it back home. So good to go.
fabulous.
Ah, delicious. Okay.
So Elizabeth, you want me to get started?
Sure. We could just,
I mean,
Do we know-
I'm going to take my camera offline so I don't get in the way here.
It's okay. This is formal but informal. So
you can
All
stay
right.
on if you just want to mute, that's great. And then when when it's your turn to speak, you could just turn yourself back on.
Am I actually speaking? Because I'm happy not to, if whatever.
You are.
yeah. All righty. Well, everyone, good evening. I'm Mark Braun, Chair of the IPH Board of Directors, coming to you live from Rob Grimm's photo studio in St. Louis, Missouri. We welcome you to our first cross-platform social media event, where we proudly announce the International Photography Hall of Fame's class of 2025, and thank you for helping us celebrate our 60th anniversary. The Hall of Fame inductees are visionaries who have shaped the art, science, and craft of photography and have inspired generations of people with their lenses in photography. As our organization continues to evolve, we're expanding our international presence with the establishment of an international advisory committee and strengthening our partnerships with organizations like the Association of International Photographic Arts Dealers. These collaborations will allow us to build a broader cross-cultural community that celebrates diversity and enriches the world of photography. In addition, we're expanding our virtual and in-person programming while continuing our competition series through the rest of this year. I want to thank you again for joining us, and I'm going to turn this over to Elizabeth San Juan, who is the chair of the Hall of Fame. And she's going to introduce us to some very interesting, exciting news about this year's inductees. Thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be on this platform, and we have a lot to get through this evening, and it just I'm just beaming with excitement and joy for this year's. We have several announcements tonight, so we're going to announce the inductees. We're going to announce our location, and before that, I'd like to introduce. And by the way, I'm in Florida. I'm in Delray Beach, Florida. Mark that just spoke is in St. Louis, and my partner in crime on the board is Frederick. Frederick, say hello.
Hey, everyone. Yes, Frederick Johnson here from California. I'm on the other side of the continent from these other guys.
So as we said, we are the International Photography Hall of Fame. We've been around for 60 years, and this year we're so excited. We have a process, a long history of inducting photographers, inventors, scientists, journalists, manufacturers, curators, educators, everything that has to do with photography. We have a nomination process that's open all year long. All you have to do is go down to IPHF.org and click on the link that says nominate an inductee. We have different categories. It's not just for the Hall of Fame. We do have the Hall of Fame, which is the Grand Dame, if you want to call it that. And then we have Visionary Awards, Leadership Awards, Point of View Awards. So as you're hearing this, there may be people that come to mind that you think are deserving of such award. And we would ask you that you visit our website and nominate. It's not a one-time thing. It's open all year long, so you have ample opportunity to nominate somebody. The way the process works is our list of nominees goes out to over 200 people, former inductees, curators, museum directors. The list is extensive. It's over 200 long. then there's a voting process. And that's how we get down to the 6 or 7 people that we induct each year. It varies year to year, but we try to keep it at a less than 10, let's say. So we're very excited this year to announce our inductees, 2 of which are here this evening with us. David Burnett, Keith Carter, Adger Cowens, Sheila Metzner, Lee Miller, Stephen Shore. I'm just tickled. I get goosebumps because I'm so excited to have these folks recognized by their peers. And I am a huge fan of most of these folks that are on the list I recognize. So I could say that I'm a huge fan of their work. So congratulations to those inductees. We have with us this evening the gentleman that will be hosting IPHF this evening and our event October 10th through the 12th. And while we've had it over the last 10 years, let's see, 2013, 25, 13 years in St. Louis, given the COVID times where we didn't have an award ceremony in person. It has been in St. Louis, but we are the International Photography Hall of Fame, and we are trying to expand our reach both nationally and internationally. So we thought we would take an adventure this year and just visit our neighbors in Indianapolis. So I'm excited to say that we are hosting our event this year, our 60th anniversary in Indianapolis. I would like to introduce Mark Williams, that can tell you all about this fabulous venue. We're very excited to partner. I do have to put in a little blurb, though, that a friend of photography, a great photographer, an ambassador of photography, Kevin Raber, was the catalyst to us going to Indianapolis. Unfortunately, Kevin passed not too long ago. So in honor of Kevin, we decided to continue the march and have our induction ceremony in October in Indianapolis, and we're very excited. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Mark Williams to tell you a little bit about the Indianapolis Arts Center. Unmute yourself.
Mark, it looks like you're muted.
Thank you. I think I'd be used to this Zoom by now, right? Still the old guy, but thank you, Elizabeth. I think Kevin would be thrilled that we're carrying this on and hosting it here at the Indy Arts Center. He was such a fan. We are beyond thrilled to partner with the International Photography Hall of Fame to host this really historic, being the 60th, and incredible event. The Indy Arts Center is proud to be a part of this celebration of photography. It's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to showcase the incredible work of these photographers that Elizabeth just mentioned, and really bring, not just the photography, but the greater Indianapolis, the greater Midwest, and the greater national arts community together in such a meaningful way. The Indy Arts Center is 91 years old, and we site on a 12-acre campus. And we welcome more than 200,000 people to our campus every year. And as we welcome them, we are looking forward to welcoming all of you. And it's going to be an incredible and memorable, unique experience in October. And I encourage you to learn more about us before you get here. Take a little visit to indyartcenter.org, and you'll see that this place is one of very few left anywhere in the world. It's a live functioning art center that offers up to 20 contemporary art exhibitions every year, and we're one of the few remaining cultural institutions that does not have a paywall. We never charge admission. We never have ticketing fees. And, you know, these exhibitions are free. We offer classes and 14 university quality studios. So I think you're in for a real treat and a real experience when you get here.
And I have not had the pleasure of visiting Indy, but the chair of IPHS has several occasions visited you and Kevin in Indianapolis, and I have many great friends that used to teach there with Kevin. Jeff Shiwi, one of them, just a few weeks ago, last month, was there with Kevin teaching. So I've heard amazing things about it. I'm really excited to visit Indianapolis. I don't think I've ever been to Indianapolis. I've been to 104 countries, but I have not been to Indianapolis. Shame on me. I'm sorry. But I am excited just because of the conversations that we've had with yourself and with Shannon and your team. So I'm really looking forward to expanding that conversation. And through Kevin, I also met the Roberts camera family, and I've had amazing conversations with Meredith, and I hope she's enjoying her vacation. And standing in for Meredith is Josh Saltzman, that is going to tell us a little bit about this fantastic store. And actually, I'm trading in some equipment with them right now, so I'm looking forward to meeting them also in person. But Josh, if you could tell us a little bit of the Roberts family and how long the family's business has been in, you know what to say. So take it from there.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Yeah, so of course Meredith wishes she could be here, but I'm standing in her place. Roberts Camera has been in business since 1957. It's a family-owned business. Bruce Paulman and Meredith Ranker and Corey Ranker are the ones in charge, and they're there working every day to make sure that photography remains available to everyone, not just in Indianapolis, but nationwide. We have a huge selection. It's a pretty big facility, and we have the Roberts Camera side and also Used Photo Pro, which is our spot for where we take in trades and sell used equipment as well. We're very excited to be a part of this, and we work with the Indie Arts Center all the time, and we're just really excited for it. If you're in Indianapolis, please stop by and see us.
Thanks, Josh. I'm looking forward to getting to know Roberts better. I would love to give my business to a small family-owned company, so I'm looking forward to that. Without further ado, I would like to get to our two nominees that are joining us, inductees, I should say, that are joining us this evening. Keith, why don't you go first? Hello, Mr. Carter, and congratulations. Just unmute yourself, Keith.
Okay, am I live?
You're live.
Well, thank you very much. Obviously, I appreciate the thought, and it's delightful to be with you, and I look forward to visiting Indianapolis. I've not been to as many countries as yourself, but I have been around a while and never been to Indianapolis.
So that makes two of us. Let's see.
And since I have just a chance to say hello to David Burnett, I've loved your work for like decades. So there, okay. One of the great journalists.
David, congratulations on your induction and welcome to the club, as they say. Please unmute yourself and introduce yourself.
Okay, I was just going to say the same thing to Keith. What I really love about this more than anything is that, and Sheila, who I don't know well, but in the 2002 Olympics, we both worked on the Utah, it was the Park City, Salt Lake City Winter Olympics. And Sheila came there, and it was just when I was kind of starting, I've never forgotten what she said one day. I've never forgotten that I was talking about the influence of being with Andy Anderson and John Hewitt, who were both shooting 4x5 at the Olympics in the winter and snow. And Sheila said, well, I shoot 35 millimeter, but I shoot like it's 4x5. And I thought, man, that's one to keep and think about. But Keith, I've loved your work forever. And it's very moving to be on the same list that you're on, and the others too. I mean, it's, I kind of thought once I got cut from high school baseball in the 10th grade, I never really thought I was going to be on anybody's Hall of Fame. So I'm very happy to be here and looking forward to Indianapolis, where I've been also to about 105 countries, 4 or 5. And, but I have been to Indianapolis, although only, briefly. Never made it for the 500. And I'm a kind of a race car junkie loving guy, but I never made it for the big race. But Indy has got a lot else going on besides that. So I look forward to it.
Well, I will say that last year we inducted Sam Abel, Eve Arnold, Paul Caponegro, Richard Misrach, Martin Parr, Ann Wilkes Tucker, and the Visionary Award went to James Ballog, and it was a wonderful evening. It was just fantastic. You could imagine the conversation.
That's a good list. That's a good roster.
It was a good roster, and we're looking forward to this year. Frederick, what can you ask these gentlemen for this year's induction?
Well, first of all, congratulations. I am the new kid on the block to the board, and I'm in awe at. First of all, I've been on the I guess the tool side of photography for many decades, from Adobe to Apple. Working on the Lightroom and Photoshop team, to Apple on the Aperture. Remember that? And the iPhone team back in the day. And I sort of cut my teeth in photography in the military as a combat photojournalist for 8 years. So I kind of grew up as a creative professional, admiring the work of this ilk of photographer. And it's an honor to be in the same Zoom with you guys, let alone be on a board that has something to do with honoring you. So I just wanted to put that out there first. And my question would be, for you, either one of you can take this. What would be your advice, having walked through the kind of different iterations and machinations of the art form of photography, and seeing where things are sort of trending, whatever your perspective? What would be your advice to creatives, including photographers, on how to make sure they stay the course and keep their vision strong?
David?
Okay, I'm just going to go back to my very basic thing. I just taught a workshop out in Palo Alto a couple of weeks ago. And I kind of ended up at this one maybe 2 or 3 workshops ago. And we were talking about, well, what is it that gets you going as a photographer? And it's like, oh, I want to be a photographer, and I'm studying, I'm out there shooting and stuff. I said, there's only one thing that is going to make you a better photographer. And that is to go be a photographer. Get out and shoot. And whatever it is that you is on your list of what you want to shoot, just go for it. And don't let anything get in your way. And you will discover these things that cannot be taught. They have to be discovered. There's so much of it about it is self-discovery, I think. Yeah. And just get out of the house, as uncomfortable as it might be sometimes, and just have a camera, have whatever the gear is that you think is going to be right for you, and don't be afraid to experiment. I mean, I started shooting 4x5, 25 years ago, and discovered, I mean, I was already 30 years of shooting, and then all of a sudden, like, wow, this is pretty cool. Yeah. So, and between the great gear that we have now, I mean, I'm a Sony guy, but there's so much good material out there now that all the excuses we used to have about why things didn't work, they're getting a little harder to find. So you just have to make it all about the inner core energy that gets you out and looking and seeing and don't stop seeing.
Love it. Don't stop seeing. That's the quote.
Yeah, there it is. Well, it's hard to, the hard part is sometimes you can't turn it off when you wouldn't mind turning it off, but
That's
you'll
right.
never turn it off once you get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great answer. Well, I'll turn it back over to you, Elizabeth.
Well, I would like to know, Mr. Carter, your journey has been incredible. You're an educator, a photographer. What has been your proudest moment, if you have a definitive moment that you're like, this fills my spirit. This, what is it that is your feather in your cap?
Well, I want to back up just for a second to add to David's. I think if you can find, if you're interested in it all, photography, find your subject matter. What do you love to work with? What do you love to make photographs of? And you'll continue. And my proudest moment, and boy, this is going to sound sappy, but hey, I'm from Texas, so was probably when I married my wife many years ago, and I never had anybody who believed so strongly that it wasn't about making a bunch of money. It was about doing the work and doing it as well as you could do it. And that was a breath of fresh air in my era. So, basically the good things that have happened to me have been partially due to the love of the work and partially the help of other people. So that's the truth.
Yeah, I think that's I think it's important that people recognize that one aspect. I remember listening to Paul Caponigro tell me how he started photography, and it was, someone saying, "Hey kid, go with this guy and he'll teach you something." And then the other person said, "Hey kid, okay, you're done with him. Come over here and let me, come work in my studio." And it was so seamless. It seemed, that the universe just kept on opening doors. Of course, he's an incredible talent also, but he had that help, right? To start his career where people were willing to share their knowledge and their passion with him. And then he did the same. I mean, I was speaking with him 2 weeks before he passed, and it was just such an inspiration always to speak to him. And I think I always marvel at I call them my little angels that have helped me on my journey. And it's really so gratifying.
He was great.
Yeah, he was.
Really great.
Gentlemen, do you have any questions? It's an open forum. We're live. Feel free to ask questions. It's an open discussion. There is no formality here. We're all family now.
Which is better, Nikon or Canon?
What do
or
you
Sony?
think? What do you think?
Neither, none of them. They're all great. They're just.
This is. I would say
means to an end.
It's very. There was a time, I started shooting in the '60s. I went to Vietnam in 1970 as a freelancer. At that point, everybody had like the field gear was an M2 or an M3 Leica right here, and then a Nikon on each shoulder or some version of that. And it was like when you got that Leica and when we got that second Nikon, and all these things where you were building, and there were very few options. I mean, Pentax actually made a pretty good camera, but changing lenses under pressure with that screw mount was challenging. But there's always been great gear out there. And the thing is now, the level of everything from Panasonic and Fuji and all the way down the line, you have to just find what feels good to your eye and what feels good in your hand. And it's one less thing to worry about. And, somebody asked me a couple of years ago, and I was starting with the A9 Sonys, and I'm looking through the mirrorless viewfinder, and they said, well, how long did it take you to get used to the mirrorless finder? I said, look through there. I'm looking at the file. It took me about 30 seconds to get used to it. I mean, it was basically immediate. It's like all of a sudden you've cut down so much of the stuff between what it used to be between when you would shoot a roll of Kodachrome and 5 days later you were looking at it on a light box, and now you're looking at it instantaneously. Maybe there are times when it's not the best thing. Sometimes having that little time for things to grow between when you shoot it and when you look at it was not a bad thing. But there is something quite wonderful about seeing what those files are going to look like as you shoot them. Yeah. And then I kind of mix that with with my 4x5 black and white film. So it's like a little bit of each one kind of keeps me going. And I think the key is to find whatever it is that just feels perfectly right for what you're doing. And that's, in the end, that's one way of just trying to get through the technical jargon that we're all assaulted with on a nonstop basis. But
every day.
Find what works for you, and there'll be something that really does.
Dave, I want to you mentioned one thing I wanted to have you expand on, or the group even, but the idea that feedback loop from the time that you press the shutter button to the time that you actually see the final realized image used to be quite a while, right? In some cases,
or almost never. I mean,
yeah, or never.
Realistically, never.
Yeah. Instantaneous, what we have today. You know, it's you hit the button, you can see it. Do you think the shortening of that feedback loop has made photographers better or worse?
Well, one of my buddies, Dave Kennerly, early on in the digital world, like about 20 years ago, he said, well, the great thing about digital is, you know, right away when you screwed up or right away when you missed it. And in fact, that's a really, it's very apropos, because before, when it was the film world, you kind of had to have a little bit of faith to keep going. I mean, I can't count the number of times that I was someplace other than New York, usually, you know, out of the country, and you'd find a way to get the film shipped to New York. And then it would, you know, we used to joke about the requisite getting the film onto the Fleet Messenger morning run out to Fair Lawn, New Jersey to the Kodak lab, so you could see your Kodachrome within 24 hours. That was like a big deal. Otherwise, it was 2 days before you saw the film. And you know, that has all been crushed down to like the moment that you shoot the picture now. So I'm, you know, maybe there's that element of pain and suffering that we all should be going through to a greater degree. On the other hand, you know, at least, you know, when you screwed up, you know, right away, you don't have to wait 3 days.
Yeah, it's easier to learn. But on the other hand, if Christmas is every day, Christmas isn't special, right? So
right.
You want some delay for the anticipation, I think. I don't know. But when you're learning, you want instant feedback.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So yeah, I don't know. I think it's an unanswerable question.
Well, I do think though, Frederick, and to David's point, you know, giving that pause when I'm coming home from a trip or from working on a project, I give myself a little time now to emotionally unattach myself from what I just shot maybe for 3 weeks and try to leave the emotional aspect out of it when I'm viewing or reviewing my images. Just because in the heat of the moment, you know, you're so excited because you did get the shot because you could see it on your, you know, on the screen, or you know, you're chinking or whatever. And but I feel like when I put my camera to my face and I click, I know when I get a good shot. I don't really have to see it to know.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I try to overwork it, now that, you know, these images are free, so to speak, right? But then you get bogged down with editing and deleting images that you tried to work or rework. And usually for me, it's the first image that I take that is the best one. And I don't know if you guys have had that same situation, but when I switched to digital, I don't know how many images I was photographing, and I was like, oh my gosh, I quickly realized that I hate being behind the computer going through all of them. So I've slowed my roll, so to speak. So now I'm much more cautious. I pretend that I have a roll of film in my in my camera and don't shoot away.
Yeah, 36, right?
Right. So, what do you think, David? If
No, but there was, I mean, I think back to a couple of trips, long trips where it took me a couple of days to get somewhere, shoot for a few days, come back. And in the back of your head, you're wondering if that thing that you thought you saw was really a photograph. And, you know, it wasn't always by any means. It was certainly not 100%. But if it was half the time you get back and a couple of days later, you're looking through that stack of Kodachrome slides and you see the one that you were hoping for, that it's just like you could just feel the energy go bursting. But it didn't happen that often. But when it did, it was very special.
and Keith, with your style of photography, what have you encountered that film, digital, waiting? Do you review instantly?
Well, I'm a guy. I like instant gratification. I love to see what I'm doing and what's going on. I don't really make a whole lot of distinction between using a film camera and in that era and using a digital camera. I think they're both sort of miraculous. The digital world's just stunning for a number of reasons, but I don't find it really helps you make better work or think deeper thoughts. But like I say, we like instant gratification. But if you look at the history of photography, which I love, one process has always replaced another process. And that includes equipment. And the irony is that not one of them has really disappeared. I mean, there's probably more interest now in what we call alternative or historic processes. And I see more people using vintage equipment on occasion. And I have both, and I use them both. And I don't make a huge equipment distinction. I make a subject matter distinction.
There you go.
Well said.
Yep. Well said.
I wonder if if you had your choice to have the ideal camera or capture device for your type of photography, what would it be? Or in other words, looking at today's state-of-the-art cameras, what's missing, if anything? Like, is there anything, if they only had this, it would be perfect. What's that thing?
I really don't know how to answer what's missing. I can tell you that from my experience, I love what feels right. It's not a big distinction on the equipment. I think most lenses today have more quality built into them than most people get out of them anyway. Besides, I like short depth of field, so it's not that critical in some respects, but mostly I used for many years the Hasselblad. I thought it was a beautiful design and I could handhold it or use it on a tripod. It was reasonable and the size of the scale of the negative was good. And today I use a small Sony, which surprised the heck out of me. And it's not an equipment thing with me. It just felt so simple to use and keep. I mean, and the only thing simpler than that is your cell phone. So I don't make a huge distinction that way, personally.
Yeah.
I'll say this, in the early 1970s, hanging around the Richard Nixon White House with the photographers, and the joke always was, this was in the age of the 80 to 200 4.5 and a not very good short zoom. The prime lenses were pretty good, but the zooms weren't very good. And we used to joke about, in French, the word flou means out of focus. So the flutard, which was the imaginary 20 to 500 lens, we'd be jammed into a corner. It's like, where's the flutar when you need it? And I now have this this Sony RX10 Mark IV. It's a 24 to 600 zoom, and it's like the flutar has come to life. And as a just like a walk around camera, it's pretty hard to beat. It's just the size of a regular camera with like an 85 millimeter lens. It's not big and bulky, and unfortunately, they're apparently going to stop making the camera. So, if you really want one, you better hurry out and get it. But it's a great little camera, and it has so much of that of what we thought we wanted. You know, we wanted the wide angle. We wanted a good 85 for 100 for portraits. We wanted that sports lens 500, 600. And I'm down in Palm Beach, kind of splitting my time with New York these days. And where I live, there's a bunch of alligators that live on, it's Florida. Everything is a golf course. And the alligators are like, well, can I play through? So yeah, but let me just get a couple of frames first. And like, just kind of wandering around with that 24 to 600, you can really poke into the like, for one brief moment, you think you're back in Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom, and you're really just in the garage, you know. But it's the gear is a dream compared to all the stuff that we had to deal with. Now there's other things to deal with, but, and as Keith said, the real thing is about finding what your interest is and matching your actions to that. And you just happen to have a camera with you. But it's not first about, I mean, the cameras are great. If you're going to be a photographer, unless you can take something and just hold it to your forehead and make a picture. And I'm pretty sure that's not working anymore. So you end up having to make a decision about the gear, and everybody's got their own little view of exactly what that is. But once you get there, then it's really and I said to my class 2 weeks ago, I said, the best zoom you have is a good pair of shoes. You know, don't be afraid. I love a 50 millimeter. And why? Because it's great. You can do almost everything with it. But when you have a good pair of shoes and you can motor around and be where you got to be to make that picture with a 50, then you've kind of accomplished something. You know, it doesn't require long lens this or super wide that, or don't get your feet in the picture. It's just a 50. It's just like looking like a person looks, and that's what, if you can bring your vision to that simplicity, then you got something.
Well, David, I'm glad you said the 50, because I just sent Roberts my 24 to 105 lens from Sony, and I have my 50 prime coming to me soon. So it's my first prime lens. I'm ashamed to say that, but since
is it a 50 or a 55?
No, I think it's a 50. I'm gonna have to go back, but I think it's a 1.4.
Oh, the 50. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And yeah, I'm excited.
Welcome to the world of normalcy.
I'm giving up taking the easy way out, right, with my zoom, and I'll use my feet more.
Well, everything has a place. Everything in your bag should have a reason to be there.
It depends on the work you do, the kind of work, and how you want it to look. Yeah.
Right. And for those folks that are joining us from multiple platforms, feel free to jump in and ask any type of question. This isn't, limited to the folks that are on this call. If you're listening and you want to ask Keith or Mark or Josh from Robert's Camera, or anybody a question, or Frederick or myself about IPHF, feel free to chime in. And I will just say that we are very excited about working with the folks in Indianapolis, and I've reached out to a few folks like the Roberts family, and looking forward to making more connections and creating community, because that's what this is all about, is creating community and keeping this medium and this art form alive, especially now with the terrifying AI coming into, you know, full steam ahead. Frederick was giving us an example today of what he was doing while he was waiting through a drive-through, and I was horrified. I've not ever used AI. I'm not one of these computer people, but I think I feel that photography has always been the stepchild in the art world. We don't get the recognition that, you know, painters or other folks get. I think photography has always been seen as the stepchild, and how do we propel it forward, and how do we make sure that it maintains its place? I think there's two important things throughout history that we could really count on, and that's the printed image that we could, you know, view from photographs from way long ago and say, wow, this is history. This is what it was, and we have visual proof, right? And then the written word, when you have a book or you have text that's written, those are history keepers, and they're the storytellers. And how do we keep this alive, and how do we get kids engaged? And I think, to your point, Keith, I think my daughter, she's 32, she shoots with Polaroids and film. It's to me, it's hysterical. But I think I'm excited because there is an interest, albeit, you know, retro interest, but there's an interest in photography, right? So how do we continue this?
That's going on, the interest in classic photography, we'll use that term, but this AI movement is going to be a game changer, clearly. It's going to change things in ways that we don't yet know. That's my 2 cents worth on that. It's both exciting and horrifying. I can't really quite get past how extraordinary it is and how worrisome in some respects it is. I don't have that intellect, and I don't know how it's all going to shake out.
Yeah. Yeah, it is I think it's all of those things. And I was speaking to a friend yesterday about where this blue skying, where it might go. And because we're with these tools, what used to take years and sometimes a lifetime of learning and mistakes and perseverance can now be done in a drive-through, you know, in some cases from the inception of an image all the way through to even publishing a full article with text and illustrations and all the things, right? Anyone can do it. So I think we're in this kind of no man's land now, all creatives, about how do we embrace what is obviously coming. We're not going to wish it to go in a different direction like an asteroid. So how do you retool to be effective either in your art form, or does your art form evolve now into something that is powered by these new capabilities, or what, right? But regardless, depending on what your motivations are for creating, if you are a amateur at the purest sense of the word, you're just doing it for the love of doing the craft, and money is just whatever, it's your ship in the bottle, then you're great. But if you are competitive, or you are in a career field that is any way competitive, then all of your competitors are now looking at all these new superpowers that they have, which means you have to look at them, kind of the Lance Armstrong effect, right? So, you know, no one knows what's going to happen. But I think what I think we all know is it is not an option to not pay attention to what's happening. You know, you have to stay informed.
AI is the elephant in the room. None of us know exactly how it's going to change things, or that's how I look at things, which is why we need people like David. You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Or, you know, sense of history and great archive, and keeps working all the time. You know, it's not so much about the camera or the lens or the process as it is, what do you find interesting? What do we care about? What's historical and what's going to stand the test of time? Who do you love? Why do you love it? All that stuff So it's not
Computers have no
intellectual.
vision. They have no vision. They have no historical knowledge. Well, they have all the historical knowledge, but they don't have the historical feeling of what accompanies that knowledge,
Yeah.
right? So we do. So it can only regurgitate the things that it already heard about, whereas we can have brand new ideas and feelings and express those. I think this wave of change in creative industries is hopefully going to push that part of it forward more, the storytelling and the artistic feel and all of that versus just the technical and being, how great can you render this dragon, right? So I don't know.
Another reason why we need good teachers like David. We
Yep.
need people to impart this information.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
a couple of years ago, just the year before he passed away, but the longtime one of the picture editor before that had worked at Time Magazine for about 30 years, working his way up through the photo and layout department. But Arnold Drapkin, who we a bunch of his photographers, which included me, decided to throw him a 90th birthday party down in Boca Raton. And people came from Montana and California and Hawaii. I mean, they all came, all of those photographers who he had put out in the world to go cover things. And in my little remarks, I just said, Arnold, I just want to thank you. I mean, I've thanked you a million times, but the older I get and the more I reflect on it, the most important thing that you enabled us to do was to get out there and create the work. Because without the push to get out there, I mean, we would have all been doing things here and there, but it wouldn't have been to the level and the historical importance of what it was, whether it was the coup in Chile, the Iranian Revolution, the list goes on and on. But the fact that he got us out there and creating the work so the work could exist and breathe and carry on. Because without that, if it's just what you're doing completely on your own, you run into, well, how do I afford the ticket? How do I afford being able to stay somewhere for a month and do an in-depth story? And more than anything, I think there was this love in the room for somebody who totally got what it was about. I mean, ostensibly, it was really about, well, I got to fill the magazine. We have a lot of pages to fill, and we want to beat Newsweek every week. So we're going to get these people out there working. But really, it was about letting us get out and do our thing for the magazine. And the more I look back at it, the stronger that impression is to me. And what remains the most important thing is to get the hell out of the kitchen and go find the story that you've got to do and do it.
Yeah, that's great. Really. We're coming up on an hour of going live. So I just wanted to really recap about this conversation this evening. And we've announced the inductees for the 2025 Hall of Fame. We're going to be in Indianapolis, October 10th through the 12th. We will have a live panel discussion with David and Keith and some other people. It's a surprise. So stay tuned, follow us on Instagram, check the website for updates. Speaking of updates, we will give an update and tickets will go on sale for this event April 15th. So we want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to get their tickets. You just visit IPHF.org and you'll be able to purchase the tickets there. Josh, I would like for you to please remind folks of Robert's camera, where they could find you on the web, and if they need to trade in old equipment, sell equipment, you guys do it all. So if you could just give us a recap, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have Robert's Camera and Use Photo Pro, and those both have websites. If you're not from the area, Robert's Camera has all of our new gear, any sort of new cameras, lenses, or accessories that you're looking for. And Use Photo Pro has a ton of pre-loved gear that we have, new stuff all the way, I mean, more modern stuff, I should say. all the way to, 8x10 cameras or whatever you can need. So, yeah, if you go to usefotopro.com or robertscamera.com, we're happy to help you. And if you're in Indianapolis in October, we'd love to see you.
Thank you. And Mark, if you could just summarize again the Indie Arts Center, where they can find your programming, what kind of educational, I know that you offer classes and such, and is it year round? Is there any kind of specialty that you focus on? Just if you could give us a little more detail as to the Arts Center.
Sure, you can learn all about the Indie Art Center at Indie, INDY.org. As I mentioned before, we are a 91-year-old arts institution. We were a Works Progress Administration, WPA project originally, and we serve thousands and thousands of students here at this facility, but we also have a very robust community program that operates at more than 30 other sites around the greater central Indiana region. We are nationally known for our veterans programming. We have youth outreach programs out in the community. We have, most importantly, senior outreach programs that are growing. We just invested heavily in new cameras that we not only use here on campus, but we take to those seniors, and that re-engagement and that creative spark is really a beautiful thing. So you're just going to see a glimpse when you get here in October of what we do at this beautiful 12-acre campus with a 10-acre art and nature park and a 44,000 square foot purpose designed and built art center, functioning art center. Our building was designed by Michael Graves, the architect who was originally from Indianapolis. So for him, it was a major treat to be able to come home and design this facility. He wanted to be an artist. His mother wanted him to be an engineer, and he found architecture as the happy medium. So we're a beneficiary of that. We have 14 university quality studios, and we service pretty much every single medium. We have an operating glass studio. We have a wood studio. We have a working foundry here. In fact, just last fall, we hosted the National Sculpture Society's annual conference here and had live iron pours and things like that. So we support just about every media. And it's been a couple of years since we had all of our gallery space dedicated to photography. So activating this campus with photography is going to be exciting for a lot of folks.
And we're looking forward to using your new auditorium also, right? You just redid the auditorium?
Brand new. And again, with the wonderful help of Kevin in ensuring that we pick the very best projection system to put in there. Yes, completely gutted and ready to go for you.
Great. So we won't worry about David and Keith's pictures looking less than fabulous. So I just wanted to say again, thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us this evening. I am tickled pink to honor you this fall, and I look forward to getting to know everyone better. It's always great to build on the community. You can get involved with International Photography Hall of Fame in so many ways. Again, we have a place for you to nominate. Open year round. There is no limit. You can nominate one person. You can nominate 50 people if you want. There is no limit. We are looking for educators, curators, scientists, photographers, nationally and internationally. We need to recognize the folks that are doing the heavy lifting internationally also. So if anybody comes to mind, please fill out the form. We do have an advisory board that is in the works that will be launching soon. So we're looking for folks from all types of industry. It doesn't have to be photography. If you're great, at crunching numbers, or if you have, connections that are corporate connections that you think would be a good fit with IPHF. Of course, we're looking for sponsors. We're a nonprofit just like the Indie Art Center is. So we live off of donations and sponsorships. So if there's any affiliation that comes to mind where you think people would like to see IPHF continue for another 60 and plus years, please, reach out to us also. And if you are wanting to meet these gentlemen and these ladies, because there are ladies inducted this year in person, please come to Indianapolis and say hello to us and join us for the festivities. Again, we're going to have a panel on the 10th. And the induction ceremony is on the 11th. So you have plenty of opportunity to speak to David and to Keith and to get these folks that will be attending. And there's going to be many more other, other great photographers and people in the industry that will be attending this event. So come and mingle with us. Frederick, any final words that I've missed that you want to add to?
No, I think you've covered it really well. Just to hammer home the point on the advisory committee, that is a major thrust of mine on the board, is helping flesh out that sub organization within the larger organization. So yeah, just to reiterate, if anyone knows anyone that might be a fit, and please forward them on, fill out the form on the website, and definitely come hang out with us at the end of the year. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, we work hard, but we play hard too. So
Yeah.
come and join us. I mean, we're looking forward to having fun. It's not all about crunching numbers and fundraising all the time. We have to let loose and have fun. And I can't, imagine a better way to do it than in the great company of at least two wonderful masters of photography that have joined us this evening. And I'm very grateful for your time and for you both joining us this evening. And then you can see that I'm percolating with excitement and just looking forward for October to get here soon enough.
Looking forward to meet everybody in person. This should be fun.
Well, David, you and I will have coffee next time you're in Florida.
Okay. Yeah, you're in Delray. You're just minutes away. So
That's right. That's right. Well, I think we'll sign off. I want to thank everybody again for joining me, and thank you, Josh and Mark and Keith and David, for your time and your enthusiasm and your support of IPHF. Have a great evening, and we look forward to future conversations.
Hey, David.
Good night, everybody.
Nice.
Night.
Thank you.
Well.
take care, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Yep. Thanks.